everybody.
Hello.
Listen, it is going to be a great night. We are going to have a great discussion. My name is Dr. Eboni Bell, and I'm your host of All Things Women Talk Show, Conversations on Canvas. We're going to give you guys a couple of minutes to log on. And once you come in, do us a favor and go ahead and tell us where you're coming in from. What state are you in? Hey, I see a couple of viewers.
Yep.
Hey, guys. Welcome to All Things Women Talk Show, Conversations on Canvas. As you're coming in, let us know where you are. Let us know how you're doing. How is your year going so far? There has been so much going on, y'all. On the news, on my timeline. I mean, one time I deleted Facebook off of my phone.
Yes.
The day after the day of the inauguration.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just that consuming to me.
Bad.
Thank you for the hearts. Please give us some hearts, some thumbs up. We got the Black Girl Magic going on right now, so y'all need to give us some love. We got this light popping over here. Yes. So listen, I'm joined by some amazing women tonight, and as you're coming in, we want to know where you're coming in from. We want to know what states we have. Trina, let us know when they start telling us where they are. Go ahead and give us some thumbs up, some hearts. I think we have, all four of us have viewers tonight, so I'm excited about that in general. And we want you guys to please ask us questions as we get into the discussion. But real quick, we're going to introduce ourselves so we can jump into this amazing conversation. Again, my name is Dr. Eboni Bell, and I'm the host of All Things Women Talk Show, and it's all about celebrating the masterpiece of woman. So, go ahead and introduce yourself, ladies.
Hi everyone, my name is Chadeia Buycks. Am I supposed to say how long I've been married?
How long? Yes.
I have been married all of 2 whole months.
She made it 60 days ago. Awesome.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Stanford, and I have been married. It is going to be 4 years a month from today. February 23rd makes 4 years. Yes, thank you.
Hi, everybody. I am Ariel Harper, and I will be married 2 years in April.
2 years. So as you see, we have a range from 2 months to 6 years. My husband and I will be celebrating 7 years next September. So yes, we made it. We're making it. Praise God. So where do we have any viewers coming in from?
We have Delaware and then Richmond.
Delaware and VA. All right now.
Okay.
Listen, guys, we're going to jump right into this discussion. Do us a favor, though. Can you share it for us? Share the broadcast so that we can have others join in on this conversation. So tonight's topic is called The Beginnings of Marriage. My first show for season 2 was all about creativity. My second show was about meditation and finding a place of peace. My third show last week was all about following your dreams in honor of MLK. And tonight we have a panel discussion about marriage. Now, none of us are experts. Let's just put a disclosure out there. We are simply here to...
At all.
We are simply here to share our own personal experience in hopes to help somebody else. Even if you're single and you want to get married one day, or you're married, there may be something that we say that, clicks for you. So we're going to jump right on into this conversation. We're going to be transparent. We're going to be real. And we're going to start off talking about the highs and lows. Can somebody type in for me highs and lows? The highs and lows of marriage.
Lord Jesus. Lord
Because they do exist. They do. They do exist. But on a serious note, I would say, honestly, for me, my high is it finally happened.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it finally happened. That was the high for me. And many of you know, shameless plug, that I wrote a book called Adoring While I Wait. And it really was my testimony of what it took for me to kind of master singlehood.
Right.
And we'll get into this later, but for me, I don't know that I was really in that process preparing to be a wife.
Right.
But I was just mastering the phase or the stage that I was in, if that makes sense. So honestly, in retrospect, I kind of wish I had done more work on what is a wife.
Yes.
As opposed to I'm trying to maintain, all of what I'm trying to maintain in my singlehood. So for me, it was just, it happened. And praise God. Finally, it happened. Okay, so my low, and this is a very serious thing, but I want to share and be transparent. Our low, I think my husband and I both agree, we had a miscarriage. Our first time I got pregnant, we had a miscarriage, and I pretty sure I got pregnant on my honeymoon based on calculations. My body was like, what? So we had a miscarriage, and I really think that was the low. But in that being the low, it was also a high because that's when we became really close.
Yes.
And you guys, I'm sure, can attest to that. So that was mine, and I can go into that a little bit more later. But what do you guys think your highs and lows are thus far in marriage?
We going down the table?
Yeah, let's go down
Sure.
the table.
Let's go down the table.
Well, I've been married for 2 months, so I haven't had a low in my marriage yet.
Okay, right.
So I always joke, I say that we're an old married couple because we've been together for 7 years. So,
Okay.
it's not new. There's no butterflies. It's very comfortable.
Okay.
But it is still exciting. Like, we're not fighting and things like that.
Mhm.
But I think a high for me is like just solidifying that I have my best friend. This is a commitment. This is gonna be my best friend for the rest of my life. So that's just like, it's so comforting. It's a nice feeling.
Comforting is a good word. That's kind of like that security.
Yeah.
Like this one thing in my life is constant.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
So that's my high. Just knowing it's solidified. It's really gonna stay.
Awesome. I love it.
Our high would probably over these 4 years, I have to say, is my daughter. I know parenting is like a whole separate conversation, but to have somebody when we met, we moved kind of fast. We met, we dated for all but a year. He proposed a year after we started dating, and then we were pregnant, and it was like, we're getting married and we're gonna do this. And a lot of my friends and family were like, are you sure? But listen, I'm the type of person, when I know, I know. Exactly. And everything about this man said, you know what, this is it for you. This is who God has for you. He balances me out. So to make a long story short, our high is our daughter, and seeing what we have come together and created, and our co-parenting, and how everything for us just, I want to say, came easy. It just came easy for us. There wasn't a whole lot to figure out. The basics, our communication has always been on point from day one. We are literally the best of friends.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
between our friendship and our daughter, those are really some highs in our relationship. On that same token, though, our lows were early on were arguments.
Okay.
My husband is a very strong-minded person. He's quiet. He's a quiet sword, if you will. So he's very reserved, and he's not as such a fireball as I am. But he's very strong-willed, and if he has a point, then he's gonna stick to that point.
Yeah.
And I'm just as much strong-willed.
Two strong people.
And honey, when those things would come together, and it was so funny. I was talking to a close friend not too long ago, and I was like, cause them fights early on. She was like, y'all two fight? No way. She said, cause the pictures y'all take online, y'all so cute. I said, what you think I'm gonna show y'all that? Y'all not getting that. But no, when we go through those lows, of course, and I'm jumping ahead of myself, but I'm calling my close friends and talking about that. That would never be something I'm putting out there.
Right.
So our highs, once again, have definitely been the way we quickly came together, developed a great friendship, produced our daughter, and then the lows was those arguments, those fiery arguments where they were not constructive at all.
Gotcha.
That's me.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a little twisty turn. So my low was early on in my marriage, and I had lived with a man before, but I hadn't lived with my husband now. So everything was still new. So when we did fight, it was like he could go to his house, I could go to my house. We don't have to, we don't have to come home to me. Right. So when we got married, our honeymoon phase was like a month, and I didn't expect our fighting to start so early.
Wow.
And I knew what our fights were like, and kind of trickled into our marriage. And I've always been the type, like, I'm a good communicator. Right. So he wasn't, and I had to learn how to communicate with him. So we fought for maybe 3 months, 3-4 months, and then finally it was just like a turnaround, and that's my high. Like that turnaround was that high for me, because something just clicked in us. Like, we don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to fight with you. I love you. You're my best friend. We're gonna work this out. Right. So that was kind of like my high. Like, okay, we got this. And ever since then, we still have our arguments, but we've learned how to maneuver around each other. We've learned how to communicate with one another, so that I can give him his space, and then we'll talk.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
it's just, I think communication was a high and a low.
High and a low. Awesome. Well, guys, listen, if you're just tuning in, go ahead and share the video for us so that we can get as many viewers on here as possible to hear this conversation. We're just starting off talking about our highs and lows. So I want to jump right into the next topic, which is independence. So we live in a society today, and we can, take note from the Women's March on Washington that we just saw. Women are out of traditional roles. Women are, we ain't just at home.
Hey, say it. What we doing? We working.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't just doing laundry. Like, the floor don't mop itself. You know what I'm saying? So we had, many of us have a job, a business, and we run the household. We're a wife and a mom. So that is like the sister. Come on, give me them hearts. I know. Come on now. We ain't barefoot in the kitchen no more. But if you are barefoot in the kitchen, no shade. Because I've been in that situation. Seriously, no shade. If that's what you have chosen to live that traditional role.
Exactly.
I'm just saying I can't do it.
Jesus.
I'm just saying I can't do it.
And
I need a little bit of everything.
Yes, very much.
I need a little bit of everything in my life.
And a grace and an anointing and everything.
There's all kinds of things inside of me that have got to come out.
Yes.
But seriously, I mean, that's one thing. I'm just flowing right now. But one thing that I have learned is that in the beginning, I tried to be what I thought a wife was supposed to be.
Come on here.
When really, all I had was like Claire Huxtable. You know what I'm saying? All I had was a few of my family members who were married. And I don't know that I was ever taught, and I don't know that you really can, I don't know that there is a manual that you can read to teach you to be a wife. But what I do know is that that was not something that I thought was important.
Right.
And what I have learned, and you guys can touch on this, which is purpose, is that in me walking in my purpose and figuring out who I am as a woman, then I became a better wife. Because in the back of my mind, I knew there were some things that I needed to be doing. But if you're not doing it, then you're not fulfilling who you are, which then turns you into somebody else.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I was suppressing some of the things that I knew that I was supposed to be doing, right? In the name of I'm being a wife and I'm being this. When God was just like, just be you. Like, that's how you're going to be a good wife. So what do you guys, can y'all attest to that?
Just to jump in and everything you were saying, I completely agree. For me, there is so much that from ever since I was a little girl that has been spoken over my life, that I've known, that I felt, but also I've always wanted to be a wife. I've always wanted to be a wife. I was raised in a two-parent household. I absolutely love the love that I saw my mom and dad demonstrate on an everyday basis, and I always knew being younger, that I want that, and it's so crazy even watching my daughter now say, I want a husband, you know what I mean? Because what she sees
she wants to duplicate that.
Of course we had the conversation, but what she sees is something healthy, and it's like, I have a best friend, in daddy. Nevertheless, though, it is something. I lost my train of thought. Let me bring it back.
Purpose.
Purpose. There we go. Thank you, Dr. Ebony. The purpose. What I did try to only cook, only clean. There was times where I wasn't working. I was depressed. I was so upset and start feeling a little bit resentment towards. If we're gonna be honest,
come on.
He all out here working, and he gonna come home and even give me any affection? He don't really appreciate me. He don't really, you know what? And then I done had this baby, my body, I done gained all this weight. There's so much going on in up in here. But what I'm really supposed to, hormones, emotions, everything. But what I'm really supposed to be doing is writing down, my feelings and my thoughts. I love to write. I absolutely love to write. I can't remember it's been a while since the last time I picked up a pen, And I'm right now, it's funny that even being asked to come on this show, God is saying right now, everything that I said you were going to be, and that's still going to happen. He's not going to put a word out, and it's not going to come to him void at all. So yes, I have my Gabriel, and yes, I have my Gabrielle, but there's still stuff on the inside of Stephanie that must come to fruition. Exactly. And I'm a better wife, and I'm more happier, and I can give my daughter more, and give my husband more quality time when I'm fulfilled in myself. And there is no resentment, there is no anger, because I'm not seeking everything from him or them. I'm looking at God.
That's a good topic. That's a good topic. So, Ariel, did you want to touch on
that? I did, and it's crazy because, you're talking about independence, you're talking about purpose. I feel as though that I found my purpose through my wifely duties.
Okay.
My ministry was birthed through me being a wife.
Yes.
And
talk about that.
It's my ministry is the wholehearted woman. And early on in my marriage, when we were fighting and we weren't getting along, that's when God really started to deal with me. Like He gave me a dream about my husband.
Okay.
He gave me a warning that my husband was dealing with, and I struggled with that. Like, am I supposed to say something? I started praying. I was fasting and everything. And that was a time where that ministry truly birthed in me because God told me, He was like, I didn't tell you to say anything to him. I gave you the dream to pray for you, to pray for him. And, from that point on, God began to mold me and to make me and show me, like, okay, this is your area, this is your purpose. And my ministry has become for women and for wives to guide them. And, like we said, we're not gurus of how to be a wife, but I felt that God was just showing me how to do that, and I could teach. And I'm personally a teacher, and I just have that spirit of teaching. So I felt like I could teach other women how to be that wife if they wanted to be a wife, and to have that group, that
support
comrade.
system. Yes, absolutely. Do we have any questions yet? Guys, feel free to ask us some questions.
What's up?
Yes, show us some hearts. We're right here having a conversation with you. Let's see. So we talked a little bit about independence and how that kind of plays a role in being a wife, and of course purpose, and how when you begin to walk in your purpose, you just become a better woman, and not necessarily trying to be a wife. I want to also talk about influence of people around you. I guess my question is, did you all have people in your life who had more of an influence before marriage that you've now had to deal with? You don't have to call your names, of course, but that you had to kind of, close your ear a little bit, or
Yes.
Was that a transition for you?
Yes, I feel like that is, and it doesn't mean you necessarily have to cut those people off.
Exactly.
But we probably just don't talk about those certain areas.
Okay.
So that's for me. There's friends and loved ones that I have in my life that, after listening to their standpoint on relationships or marriage or whatever the case may be, that's like, I don't think we're gonna talk about that.
It didn't line up with
it doesn't. It might not line up. Or for instance, I remember talking about, how I work hard to work on whether it's, working out in the gym or always keeping myself up. I do the hair, switch up the hair, the makeup. First and foremost, I do it for myself. Been doing it ever since my early teenage years. Let's put, know that. Exactly. So you know that. But he loves to see all of this extraness. You know what I mean? So I said all that to say, I was explaining that to one of my friends. It's like, oh no, that's too exhausting. That's too, and I was like, she had a different standpoint on it. And that's what we like. That's what we do. So I don't know about you guys, but I know I don't cut them off if for that reason. I just maybe
use discernment.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm a little fortunate that nobody really tries to put their opinions on our relationship, but I definitely saw a lot of relationships that I was like, oh, I know I don't want that.
Okay.
And I had a lot more examples of those, like what I don't want than what I actually did want.
Okay.
I didn't really have any relationship or any examples of what I wanted my marriage to look like. I still don't know how to be a wife. So I just be his friend. That's powerful. I think that's what got me here in the first place, is that we're friends. I don't know how to be a wife. I don't cook every day. I don't clean every day, but we're friends. We're really friends.
It's evident. It's really evident.
Yes,
that's
awesome.
But so I think that's what is guiding our relationship. We're just friends. Yeah.
I think once I did get married, I felt a lot of tension with my friends, my single friends.
Okay.
And when we would go out to eat and they start talking about who they were dating and different things, I'm just like, I felt so out of place.
Really?
I was just like, I can't relate to you anymore. No, I wouldn't do that, or no, you should stop talking. It was just like I barely had anything to say or to contribute to the conversation because their conversation was just so out of no.
It was just so different.
Right, it was just so different. Like we were speaking two different languages. Yeah. So I still love my friends. We still,
of course,
talk from time to time, but we just can't talk about that. Especially when it came to submission, they were like, "What?"
Good topic. I'm just trying to start painting on that one. Submission. Somebody type in submission. I want to get some definitions from the audience on what you think submission is and what have you been taught submission is. So you guys, we can go down the line on that while I get my canvas ready. So, but submission, what do you guys think about that?
Submission for me, I'm such a talker. All I did was just talk early on. Submission for me is listening.
Okay.
It's listening to exactly what he says, when he says it. It's just listening for me. Listening to my husband, what he wants, what he doesn't want. So that's it for me.
Okay.
Submission would be, I guess, just allowing him to lead. And lead in the way that he wants to lead.
Okay.
Not in the way that I think he should.
That's a good point. Yeah.
You know, because I'm thinking, oh, well, you need to pray every morning with me. We need to read our Bible every day. You know, we need to be singing worship songs. You know, you need to, you know, I have all these lists, but then I'm just like, I was crippling him. You know, crippling him where he could not grow. And he's like, all right, well, you know, sometimes I would try to let him lead, but then if he didn't do it the way I wanted, I would take over. And now he's like, well, if you're going to do it, I'm not going to do it at all. So I had to learn to let go of the reins and just like, if he did it the way I didn't want him to do it, it's okay.
It sounds like trust.
Okay.
Yeah. I hear trust in there.
Yeah.
Which is huge for women like us who are independent and who had all this stuff in place before, you know, the guy met us. Yeah. It's really, really difficult. If you guys relate to it, you know, give us some hearts. It's really difficult to relinquish that control. Yeah.
So I want to
I'm gonna leave that right there.
Because I am a very controlling person, and I have a plan. Like everything, I know exactly what I have steps.
Yes.
And, I know that this is where I want to go. So it's very hard for me to just be like, all right, I'm gonna do whatever, whatever you think is best. No, we're not gonna do that. So I feel like, I think for me, and y'all can tell me if this is not submission, but I think for me, it's just not moving until we agree. So if we're not on the same point, then we don't go nowhere, right? We have to agree that this is where we're gonna go. But I'm not just gonna lead. I'm not gonna just follow you blindly.
Right.
I need some
saying
that.
Yes. I like that.
All right. So that's still submission.
It was
good. It was good.
I'll pray for you.
Yeah.
But it was a good point. But guys, listen, and this is for the audience too. Do we have a question?
Before you move on?
Oh, please, yes.
Okay. And then we'll get back. Somebody does have a question, but I'll get back to that. I don't want to really switch the conversation right now. But you asked to define submission. So someone did say submission is allowing him to lead instead of me always trying to control everything.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
Someone else states that submission is trusting the vision for our family.
Yes.
Your husband says, stop controlling me, LOL. Ariel's husband.
Yes. I love you.
You're supposed to be right here. This takes
That is beautiful.
Excuse me. So the next person does say everything has to be just right for me as well. Going back to what Chadeia was just saying, and then also something that you had said that they spoke on earlier was you speaking about how he is your friend, and some people do agree that friendship is very critical in a relationship.
Definitely beautiful.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So I was going to talk about next. How important do you guys think it is to have a vision for your marriage? And I don't know if you guys have one or have you sat down and talked about that. And if so, I would love for you guys to share what that vision is and how you kind of came up. You sit down, write it down. Like, how far have you gotten into that in terms of having a vision?
Vision, of course, everybody knows that scripture. Without without vision, the people perish. So we definitely have to have that vision for our family, for ours, for this particular year, because we are wanting so many more things and striving for things. Ours is more of a financial driven or financial focused mission, if you will, or vision, if you will. So me and him just kind of sat down, and it was so funny because there are some things that I desire that I talked to him about, and he said, well, if this is what you want, this is how we're going to get it. And we literally sat on the couch and we just came up with this whole plan. And I loved it. That was him taking that lead and saying, this is how we're going to get to where you want to get to. So it's huge for us.
We have sat down, and that's going back to this whole controlling thing, like we need to have this in place and this in place. And I really had to step back. But as far as our vision, my husband, he's a Christian rapper, he writes, and I feel like this year God is really taking us into our purpose, and with my ministry, my women's ministry, and then his music, and I feel like that's our vision. Our vision is to be successful and to prosper and to get souls in. Through our ministries. And I think that's just, we haven't written it down. We don't have a vision board, but we know where God wants us. And, and I think, and we're both on agreement on that.
That's awesome.
So I agree. You do have to have a vision for your relationship because you want to make sure that the person you're with is working with you instead of against you. So we've only been married for 2 years. So our vision for this year is to get a house. My bad, 2 months. Well, we've been together for more than 2 years. So, but yeah, so we want to get a house. We want to start building towards being able to provide for a family. That's the end goal.
Yes.
So that's our vision for this year.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
How did you guys know he was the one?
Oh, I love this. Y'all go first because I'm always I'm telling you. Are you sure? Okay, here we go. Y'all, oh my gosh, I will never forget this story. I shared it a while back, my anniversary. But I had just moved back to my mom and dad's house. I had been out on my own, and I was just in a really weird, I was in a transitional time, and I remember sitting on my mom and dad's couch, and I was just crying about, I felt like I had a setback in my life and everything. I really was ready for, I thought that I was ready for marriage and to move forward and be just an adult woman and all this stuff, but God just was still working on me. And I was sitting there, I was watching Bishop Jakes, and I had just stopped talking to this guy. I had just stopped talking to this guy like maybe a week before, and I said I'm done. And I remember praying this prayer, and I said, Lord, if relationships and if marriage looks like what I've been seeing in my same group of friends and what people are really dealing with, the lying and the this and the that and just being so hurt and broken, I'm like, Lord, I don't even want it. I'll stay single until kingdom come, And so I was really crying for, again, what I was seeing and everything. Watching Bishop Jakes, and he's like, you've been crying and you're wondering when your angel is going to come. You're wondering when your angel is going to come. Well, I'm here to tell you your angel is on its way. All right, cool, Bishop. I received that message. I listened to Ed. I said, I received that message. My angel's on its way. I took that, forgot all about it. When I tell y'all it was all but maybe a week and a half, it was not long at all. I met a man named Gabriel. And you know about the angel Gabriel. And when this man told me, girl, you got that, right? When this man said that his name was Gabriel, I said, you know what? I literally have chills right now. I said, you know what, God, you funny. and I didn't, but the beautiful part about it, and this is why you got to go through some stuff. And then later on, another time, I'll share my full testimony, about being engaged when I was 20 and all this other stuff I thought I had planned for my life. But this is why, you really got to wait on God's timing. When he said his name was Gabriel, and I know what I heard the week before, a week and a half before, you would think that I'm like, oh Lord, oh Jesus, you're my husband, this is it, I didn't do that. I literally laughed to myself. I had gave him my card. He had texted me like, hey, would you like to get to know one another? And when I tell you it was light, it was easy. We became friends. We fell in love. You understand what I'm saying? So that's how I knew he was the one, because God told me he was the one. But yeah, that's my story.
I love it.
So my husband and I, we've known each other since we were 15, and we've gone to the same church. And throughout our friendship, we've always been really good friends. But we always knew there was chemistry there. But it was always difficult because I was always dating somebody else, or he was dating somebody else. So it was never like the right time. And then when we did try, it didn't work out. He was on a long-distance relationship, and it just didn't work out. I started dating someone else. I had a baby. And then, one day I was just like, because I had cut him out of my life. Right. And so I hit him up on Facebook. I was just like, I want my friend back. And I truly wanted him, back as a friend. And then ever since then, we started rekindling. Our friendship started rekindling. And one day, New Year's Day, 12 a.m., he was like, you want to be in a relationship with my girlfriend? And I was just like, okay, I was like, I love it. to answer your question, how did I know? I prayed.
Mm-hmm.
I simply asked God, is he the one for me?
Yeah.
Because we've tried this before now.
Right.
So is he the one that you have purpose for me? And he said yes.
Right.
So
I love it.
All right, so we're supposed to be transparent, right?
Yes.
So to be completely honest, when we first started dating, it was fun. He was cute. I liked him, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to spend the rest of my life with him. Right? We even moved in together, and I wasn't sure. Right? I wasn't sure. Like, is this forever? But for me, the turning point when I was like, all right, I wanna do this forever, was when I was like, I don't want to change him. Like in the beginning, there were things I'm like, oh, I cannot deal with this for the rest of my life.
Gotcha.
But then, I don't know, there was a turning point where it was just like, this is who he is, and I still like him, even if some of these things are flawed, So that's when I realized, you know what, I don't want to marry this man. I was ready, but he wasn't.
Right.
But it was when I realized, like, I like this whole person instead of just good parts of him.
Yeah, that's true.
Good stuff. That's good stuff. So, do we have any questions or comments?
Yeah, we do have a couple questions.
Okay.
One question that came a while back, which kind of ties into a little bit of Lady Bell, which she touched a few ago, but it says, do you think that you got married at the right time in your life? And then part 2 to that question is, did love interrupt personal and professional goals?
What was the first question? Say the first question.
Do you think that you got married at the right time in your life?
Y'all want to answer?
Yes.
I think I did.
Couldn't come any quicker.
Right. I was ready. Like, we had spent 7 years together. If it wasn't now, then when was it going to be? And I did have a few family members tell me I was too young to get married, and I just did not understand that. I'm 27. I don't think I'm too young. And I've spent 7 years of my life with him. So I think it was the right time. And I don't feel like love should get in the way of your professional goals. I feel like your partner's supposed to help you, push you, figure out how to accomplish your goals. So no, it was not.
I absolutely do believe that I got married at the perfect time in my life. Was I all the way evolved as a woman? Absolutely not. But I was open to the point where I was able to receive constructive criticism. I was able to hear what my husband liked about me, what he felt like, needed a little bit of refining and different things like that. I do too. I like that word, right? But yeah, girl, don't get me off focus. Anyway, I'm sorry. Trying to be a professional on your little talk show. But I was able to receive the criticism that both me and him exchanged, and able to be bold enough in myself to say, deliver my message to him the right way. Husband, I'm appreciating this about you, but husband, you're gonna have to work on this. I don't like this about you. And the second part, did love interrupt your professional goals? I don't know that it interrupted per se. It didn't. No, it didn't. I just need to. I was just listening, y'all. I love Bishop Jakes. He was talking about how God is an ambidextrous God. And how we need to be. If we are truly made in his likeness and his image, then us too should find ourselves being ambidextrous, being able to be a wife, being able to be a mother, being able to have our career, being able to do all of that with excellence. So we need to be able to juggle that and then take our break and rest as he did.
That's right.
So
That's right.
The question was,
did you get married at the right time?
Okay, yes. I definitely think I got married at the right time. I don't think I was too old or too young. I think it was in God's time, and I do believe that my husband thinks that I kind of rushed him. I found out he bought the ring, and then I was just like, "What are you gonna get?" So, honestly, I do think that.
But he bought the ring, so
he bought
it was on his mind.
Right.
You had to bring it up.
So I do think I got married at the right time. I got married at 26. And then I don't believe I was already in my career when I got married, so it didn't hinder it at all. And when I did start going back to school, my husband was definitely supportive of me. So
I want to say something. I forgot exactly what you said, but you said something, and it was along the lines of like, oh, you listen, you could take feedback, you could take criticism. And so I think that goes into communication. So if you're not able to communicate with your partner, then you're not ready to get married.
Exactly.
Like that's what makes it the right time or not the right time. Like can y'all talk to each other?
I don't want to push you off, but I have got to say this. Can you communicate honestly?
Yes.
Because that was a struggle for me, and I'm just being honest.
Mm-hmm.
I held stuff that should have probably been said out of fear of rejection, which was baggage from the past, or fear of whatever conflict. I didn't want to be that nagging wife. Come on, somebody. I didn't want to be that nagging wife, and so because of that, I held so much stuff in.
And I'm just the opposite. Let me tell y'all what I did early on.
Let me
tell y'all what I did because I'm on the opposite end. I would be brutally honest. I'd be loud. I'd be in his face, finger all. This is what you want to do. This is what you're not.
A little bit like you.
This is what you're not going to do. This is how you're going to respect me. So I could be honest and I could be open, but it was nasty. It was mean. It was not nice. It was not respectful. So my thing is turning it all the way down because he's not going to take it. He does not tolerate it, you know? So we have to be, yes, we need to be honest. Yes, we should be open. But that delivery, that delivery got to be so on point.
It's also about the intent because I feel like when you get into conflict sometimes, your goal sometimes is to win the argument rather than to come to a resolution.
So in the ring fighting.
I tell him sometimes, and we both, not to cut you up, but we both talk about, I said, are we going to what are we doing right now? Are we arguing to be arguing? Are we going to find our solution? Because I tell you, me and him now, we put arguments on hold. We're going to have to talk about this later after this. Even today, coming here, if I could be honest, I said, listen, baby, I need to focus tonight. Can this wait after? He's like, all right, man. You know, it just, you have to be patient, be kind. Yes.
I am an avid believer in going to Old Navy or Marshalls, or I leave an argument and I go to Old Navy. I don't want to say something that I'm gonna regret later, so I said I'll be back. I'm going.
I gotta go more. I gotta talk it out. I can't just be in there shopping.
I could call somebody, but shopping makes me happy. Like getting a new shirt makes me feel better. So
rather than arguing with you,
I go to Old Navy.
That's funny.
But I wanted to touch back on that communication part, and you know, I had said earlier I had to learn how to communicate with my husband because I was always a good communicator. I was raised by a single mom. If we needed to talk, we were able to talk. You know, and when we started living together and being married, and we had an issue, he would leave. And I would be that type of wife. I'm blowing up your phone, and I'm being transparent. I'm blowing up your phone. I'm texting you this long behind message. You know, no, we're gonna talk about this right now. No, right now. What's wrong? What? It was really bad. And I had to learn, like, okay, let me say what I have to say, and then let him digest it. You know, and not try to throw it down his throat
or make him respond immediately.
Right.
Because that's what makes people lash out.
Let me say what I have to say, let him digest it, and then when he's ready, he will come back to me.
For sure.
But that sometimes made me resentful. Why do I always have to wait around when he's ready to talk? Like, I don't want to talk when you're ready. I want to talk right now, but I had to really take it back. Like, when he's ready to digest it, he's ready to talk about it, let me
I think also, it's sometimes hard, but like if there's a way to have the conversation without it getting so heated, then you can talk about it in that moment. But once everybody's on 10,
let me mention something. What you said about him walking out. He is early on, he knows it's just something I don't do well with, so he'll just go to the other room. But going into the walking out and why that might bother us so much, and this is going a little deep on it. But I don't know how many, if you guys would agree, that used to bother me so much because I had a father that walked out of my life. You understand what I'm saying? And so what you're doing to me right now reminds me of something that I can't deal with, and thank God for now, again, and I've shared this with the world, on my Facebook page and everything, but reconnected with that father. And I promise you, and this is why we got to continue to work on ourselves and not look to our husband to fix us. He's not our God. He's not our ultimate ultimate fixer, you know. But why we got to continue to work on ourselves because once I reconnected with my father, and now these last 2 years have been in contact with him, talking and texting, and just learning about his past, learning about, you know, things that I didn't understand. I promise you I'm a better woman to my husband now because I was able to fix my daddy's issues. You understand? So now if he wants to walk out and take a pause, see you. I'm gonna see you when you get back, right, Pop? You understand what I'm saying? So that just goes right into the things that we need to constantly work on and get them insecurities out the way and sweep all that junk out.
And it also goes back to communication because if you don't share with your husband that's why
this bothers exactly.
If you don't share that.
I definitely had insecurity issues early on when he would leave. Because then the devil would play with my mind, oh, we're going to find somebody else. Because if we don't talk about it right now, he's going to think about, oh, I can find somebody who's going to talk to me about this, or he's not going to have this issue. And I would play that over and over in my mind. Like, we can't argue, we got to talk about it right now. So all those insecurities, so now when he has an argument, he wants to leave, or he's, you know, he's shut down. You know, I'm just like, okay.
Exactly.
You know, it's okay.
Is it me, or does that not bring him back to you quicker?
It does.
Girl,
it does.
When he tried a little attitude and want to walk out, and I'm just like, honey, he comes back quickly. Because 3, 2, 1. Yes. Because you're attracted to us, like, oh, well, she ain't tripping, so you know. But when you putting out that desperate and you acting up, you know, no, and it's not attractive. So when you're feeling fulfilled in and of yourself, I feel like that's more attractive to your husband.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Any more questions or comments from the audience?
What's up, y'all?
Liking what you're hearing?
We right up now.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up in a few minutes. So if y'all have questions, now will be a good time.
There's quite a few questions. I don't know if we're going to get through all of them.
Okay, just pick which ones you think. One tackle.
So just speaking of the communication, because I think one of the questions seems like your husband.
I
he on the road.
Your husband's just like,
tonight.
Y'all have a lot to talk about.
So babe, when you say what really did you mean by?
He probably just want to get y'all opinion on something.
Can I get this question?
Go ahead.
So it says, for men, timing for certain conversations is important. I guess y'all might have kind of touched on this, but he said, I believe it makes the conversation go smooth. Is that the same for a woman?
what, timing?
Yeah, timing. So have y'all learned to basically come to a point where y'all know the timing of a conversation now?
When to talk to him about a conversation? Yes, I definitely think that, you know, he doesn't really I learned I like to do pillow talk. When we're just chilling, you know, it's just like, all right, I can maybe bring this up. But I've learned, if he's just getting off of work, or, you know, he's just trying to, you know, de-stress, I know, I know when to pick my battles. I know when I can talk about it.
That's for everybody. Even when you was a teenager, you knew not to ask your mom.
Right.
She walking in she walking in with grocery bags. And so you coming in there.
Give me a minute.
Yeah, that's for everybody.
I want to say something, and I hope this helps everybody. So my husband said something to me, and it revolutionized communication for me.
Okay. He
said that a man does not want a production or a big setup for a conversation.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So he said that to me about a year ago. Right? So I listened to that, and I'm telling you, it has changed the way that I approach my husband. I literally pretend in my mind.
Don't give all your secrets.
No.
Girl, sound good. Tell me.
Listen, I'm telling y'all, you don't get nothing else tonight. This is like the end of the service. You don't get nothing else tonight. And I'm about to close right here. Okay. They don't like production. They don't like drama. They don't like sit down.
Right.
Yeah.
When you get home,
the announcement.
Literally, y'all in the kitchen, you cooking, he washing a dish, you playing with the boys, y'all playing with Legos. Just literally just bring it up.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, slide on it. Because then it's I can't really explain it from a man's
defense mechanism is built.
It's no you ain't putting your dukes up. Y'all just chilling. You know what, babe? Did you see when or whatever?
I don't know. In my experience, that backfires sometimes because then I get hit with the.
I mess up my theory.
Thinking about this.
This is your theory.
All right, I'm sorry.
No,
I know. But yeah, get how long have you been thinking about that? So then it's like,
I think that's still good though.
All right.
I mean, the fact that he
wants
to know
but then he focuses on that.
How long you been thinking?
Your husband never asked you?
No.
Yeah, my husband.
No?
No.
Oh, I got a special one.
You do. And you know what? You should cherish that. The fact that he wants to know how long you've been thinking about that. Not for real. That's I think that's unusual.
Okay.
But no, and that brings up to the point.
Keep it over there. Yep, that's unusual.
No, but seriously, and you know, what works best if you're married.
Right.
I just wanted to put that out there for my husband. When when they share that little bit of wisdom with you,
take it.
Take
it. No, he has given me some gems. I know what you're talking about.
And listen, remember that was something that was so important to him that he actually said that to me. You know, that wasn't no happenstance. This was, I'm giving you something, a key to unlock a door. You want to get this out of me. I'm giving you this key to unlock this door. You know what I'm saying? Just come at me easy with it and then let it go.
All right.
And then you got to do some conversations, hear me, in sections. So it might be like this real big issue, but you cannot give him the novel, honey. Give him the chapter. Matter of fact, give him a page today and maybe a page next week. Because you're not going to get everything you want overnight. It's just not going to happen. And the more we pile on to our husbands, they already got enough on their plate. You know, they have this pride. They're trying to provide. They're trying to do this and do that. They got stuff going on at work. I mean, men deal with so much. And we can't be the ones that put so much on them that they can't.
And I think with that too, when you tell a person I want this and I want this and I want this and I want this, that gives them the opportunity to miss some of them. Like, you know how like you text somebody something and they respond to the last thing? So you focus on the one thing.
What you really want right today. What you need today. All right. Sip my key.
I know everyone looked at me. There's really not any more questions. The ones I'm looking at looks like y'all kind of already touched
the same kind of stuff. Okay, good. Awesome. All right. Well, guys, we're right on time. Actually, this has been a great discussion. Ladies, if you want to leave the audience with something, even if there's a single woman watching, anything that you want to say to encourage her, I'm going to let y'all do that. We'll start with Ariel and work our way down.
Seek God, you know, and pray and just trust Him and don't be so focused and absorbed on I gotta get married, I gotta get married. But build that relationship with God, and that's first and foremost.
Absolutely,
that relationship with God.
My advice would be, again, there's a scripture that talks about whatever state you find yourself in, to just be content. Exactly. And so if you find yourself right now a married woman who's unhappy, then think about the times where you were single and you so look forward to being married. What are those parts that you look forward to being, and highlight and remember the things that you were looking forward to, and make everything in the state that you're in right now, find some type of happiness in that state. If you're a single woman right now, then honey, enjoy every little bit of that free time and just love on yourself and just, you know, make the most of your life right now, because there is going to be a time where you are married and you do have those children that you're not going to get as much time. So again, whatever state you may find yourself in, always find yourself being content and seeking to be happy. You know, you have to do that. Happiness does not come to you,
and He can't give it to you,
and he won't. You know, at times He just cannot give that to you at all. You know, so whatever state you find yourself in, be content. Find contentment in that situation and work hard to be happy in yourself. I love y'all. Thank y'all for listening. I appreciate you so much.
Yes. Close it.
I'm sorry. Should I not say this?
No, Mama. That was my personal little thank you and good night.
I know. I feel like in my experience, I see a lot of people like searching for a boyfriend, you know, searching for a husband. And I think that they're kind of focused on the wrong thing. I think they should be searching for a friend. Because if you don't have that friend first, then you're not going to have a happy marriage. You're not going to have a happy relationship. So focusing more on the friendship. Like, what do y'all have as friends besides, you know, without intimacy, without all that extra stuff? What's at the root of your relationship? For sure.
Okay, so I say this to married and single women all over the nation. If I could, I would shout it from a mountaintop. there is a God-sized void in you that no one can fill. Literally, not one person on this earth can feel the emptiness inside of you, except God. And no matter whether you're single or married, that specific special place in you was created for God. Right. And I'm telling you, if you don't do anything else, whether you're married or single, please continue to allow God to fill the void in you. And that void never gets filled up. Like, it's like a hole that's constant. That's why you have to constantly pour the word, constantly pour God, constantly pour worship, constantly pour Him into you, because whether you're married or not, that void and that space, I hate to use the word void almost, but that space is created specifically for your Father who created you. So that is what I would say to married and single women. That's something that I'm still working on constantly. Because when I find myself pulling on my husband too much, that lets me know that my relationship with God is off. Something's not right. The intimacy is not there. So I could talk about that all day, but I'm not going to do it. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. And this has just been such a rich conversation. If there's anything that stood out to you, please type it in the comment section, because we're going to go back and take a look at every single one of your comments. We're going to like them. We're going to comment on them. I'm sure people have questions. We're going to go back between tonight and tomorrow and the next day. Share this broadcast with somebody else. Just push the share button so they can be impacted. So listen, this has been All Things Women Talk Show, Conversations on Canvas. Tonight's piece is called To Become One. So this piece of artwork is available to you. The proceeds from this artwork go towards a scholarship fund in honor of my grandmother. So if you want to purchase this piece of art or a print of it and you're interested, please inbox any one of us. And the originals are only being sold for $52. My goal this year is to produce 52 pieces of artwork for one per week in the year. And so that's why these are only $52. So we want you to get a piece of artwork in your house. Part of the show is really just about connecting with the visual learner and people who also, learn by hearing. So we hope that you were fulfilled tonight and that you had a great time. Ladies, Ariel, Stephanie, and Chadeia, thank you all so much for being here today. And my queen behind the camera. So we love you guys. Continue to post your questions and share the video. We love you. See you next week at 9 o'clock p.m. on Monday night. Bye-bye. Good night.